Welcome back to the ADHD podcast. This is Vonstar, and today I'm going to do an Am I the Asshole? So I haven't fully read this one, right? So maybe I'm not 100% prepared, but I will say this much. It is about breastfeeding, technically breast pumping, and let's get to it. Mind you, I'm a breastfeeding mom. My son is 2. Incorrect. I'm a breastfeeding mom and my son is 1.5. He's 19 months. Okay. So, am I the asshole for greeting the delivery man while wearing and operating a breast pump? I, 33F, am currently pumping 6 times a day for breast milk. My newborn had a tongue tie and difficulty latching, so I am exclusively pumping. At home, when it's just me and my husband, I don't cover up to pump. When I have company over, I wear a cover over the pumps. Nothing wrong with wearing a cover. I'm just personally not comfortable pumping with my nipples exposed in front of my in-laws, parents, friends, etc. FYI, a cover, even though you are fully clothed, the nipples are visible through the flanges when you pump. It's true, yeah, they look like super engorged. Yesterday in front, my lawn camera triggered a notification and I saw the delivery guy walking up to my house with a package that I was expecting. I was mid-pump, so I texted my husband, but he replied that he was in the middle of work meeting and could not come to the door. After ringing the doorbell and receiving no answer, I could see on the security cam that he was writing the missed delivery slip for pickup at post office. Honestly, it's such a pain because you have to wait until the next day and drive all the way to the post office, so I decided, screw it. Threw on my cover and opened the front door. He looked very shocked and very uncomfortable to see me. I had my pump clipped to my waist, a cover over the flanges, so while no breast or nipples were exposed, you could tell there was the outline of something attached to my chest, some tubing visible, and obvious pump noises, and possibly audible milk spray. Edit in the middle of it. I just pumped again, so this time I took a picture with the exact cover I was wearing. Okay, obviously you guys can't see the cover, but maybe I will try to clip it in. So no nips, breast exposed, but definitely obvious that I was pumping. He basically cleared his throat, shifted, and looked away while I signed for the delivery. Then, as he handed me the package, he kind of winced and said, "You know, you didn't have to open the door in your state." "It's nothing urgent." I replied, "Yeah, but I don't want to make the trip to the post office to pick it up when you're already here." He seemed quite annoyed and said, "I think you should realize that this makes others uncomfortable." At that point, I felt quite annoyed and said rather sarcastically, "My bad for traumatizing you. Hope no one else on your delivery route answers the door with medical equipment." Boop. When I told my husband, he rolled his eyes and said, "That guy needs to get over himself." But thinking about it, I wondered if I was being inconsiderate. Being an inconsiderate AH, which I assume means asshole, right? Yeah. Perhaps this is different from breastfeeding or pumping in public. There you are minding your own business and others can look away, and you are not making them look at you by answering the door. I was maybe forcing him to interact with me while I was in a state that some might find uncomfortable. I wonder if I misunderstood some kind of social contract here. Edit. Title misspelling, breast pump, not bump. Yeah, I read it as breast pump because I knew what she meant. But no, you're not the asshole. He came to your door, right? He comes to your door, he gives you your package, he goes on about his day. Maybe this guy has never had a baby. Maybe his baby mama chose to be strictly formula. But I'm going to be honest with you. I will whip my titty out and breastfeed in front of anybody. I don't care how uncomfortable you are. And not only that, but you are coming to this woman's door and trying to tell her how to live her life. Just do your job. Let her sign the package. Get over it. If you were so uncomfortable, you could just turn around and could have called somebody and been like, woo, 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 this person had a breast pump in, hardy har har. You're not an asshole. He is. He's an asshole. He's inconsiderate. You're not inconsiderate. And I can't even believe this is a thing. I just don't understand how this can be a thing. I don't understand why someone would be upset because you decide to open the door in your own home with the breast pump. Maybe she could have took it off, but it's a lot of work. Then you would have to unscrew it. She would have missed the package anyways. You know, like, no, you're not an asshole. He is. And so let me see what people are saying about this. It really just kind of pisses me off when people have a problem with breastfeeding or how, I mean, like, who cares, right? Like, you came to her door. So you come to her door and you tell her how to live her life? I don't think so. Okay, so Spicy Turtle 38. It's a funny name. First of all, Reddit gives you the weirdest names if you don't choose your name, username. Not the asshole. You're in your own home. You were totally covered. That man needs to grow up and understand that his job requires him to visit people in their personal spaces. Hello, newsflash. You didn't flash him. You were basically fixing your kid's lunch. It's true. What an absurd reaction for him to expect you to inconvenience yourself on the off chance you might accidentally offend someone by doing something entirely in no offense. Seriously. I'm fixing my lunch as I type this. That's Mad Frog Party. Good for you. You did nothing wrong. You are 100% not the asshole. I have the even pump while working, while driving, while doing dishes. I even went to Target once. I also breastfeed in public. If my kid is hungry, they will eat. People can fuck right off if they're uncomfortable with your kid eating. That's very true. When I was working in the office, I would definitely pump. I would not apologize. Occasionally, maybe, because the noise is like very, ooh, it sounds funky, right? But I mean, you gotta pump the milk, especially if you are adamant on being a breastfeeding mom or a strictly breastfed mom. 100%, 10 times better for your kids than formula. No offense for the moms that, aren't able to feed their kids breast milk, because not everybody has the luxury or the physical ability to be able to create breast milk. But for those of us who are able to, I mean, like, if you can do it and you want to do it as you please. Do it anywhere. Like, I don't understand why people are still tripping over breastfeeding, breast pumping, or any of that in public. If you don't like it, look away. Just look away. If it bothers you, look away. Let me see. I think it's insane we sexualize breasts to this point. Feeding babies is literally their purpose. I mean, and a little bit of other stuff, but Ooh, this might be good. Am I the asshole for telling my friend she can't eat? I, 22 female, and my ex-friend, 23 female, used to like going out a lot. We would frequently eat in the city, and since my family is more upper class and hers is more middle, she dashed out middle, okay. Hers is more working class. I ended up paying for 75 to 100% of the meals we eat. At first, I didn't mind paying, but ever since I started to object, she would make snarky comments like, what, daddy didn't pay your trust fund? Bitch, entitled much? Okay. Or, what's the point of having so much money if you're not going to spend it on your friends? You're so stingy. You know I didn't have as much money as you do. Yet, every time we went out, she would pick the more expensive and fancy restaurants. And as soon as it's time to pay, she would be like, oh, you'll cover the bill, right? Or, sorry, I didn't bring my wallet. It's just excuse after excuse with her. And I just get so annoyed that last time we went out to eat, I asked her if she would pay her half. She told me no, I don't have enough money. So I said, well, then you're not eating. At first she laughed, and when she saw my face, she looked at me like, you're joking, right? I can just imagine. You're joking, right? No, bitch, I'm not joking. At that point, I got so fed up. I told her, if you're not willing to pay your half of the meal, then I'm not buying you food. You're a full-grown woman with a bank account. Use it. Boop. And after she heard that, she got angry, and we kept arguing so loudly that we got kicked out the restaurant. Oh, Lord. And to top it all off, she had the audacity to demand me to call her an Uber because it was my fault that we got kicked out the restaurant. Of course I didn't and left her there. Savage. But ever since that night, my friends have been blowing up my phone, calling me an asshole for leaving her there at 11 p.m. at night. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Tell Frederica, the freeloader, you're done, and that she stopped being your friend the day she only saw you as a meal ticket, literally, for her to scarf down endlessly. And that was at least 100 meals ago. And then go to the fanciest restaurants in the city and have the most expensive lunch on the menu to celebrate. I'm trying to see if someone said that she is the asshole. I mean, like, who does she think she is? The entitlement and the audacity, for real. I can't. She is not your friend, dude. She's not even grown. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't come for money. I don't come for money. She seriously just... Everybody's telling her she's not the asshole because she's not. She is not the asshole for real. I don't think so. People nowadays are just so entitled to things, including friends, obviously. Like, this is not your world. You are the person of your world, and if you really want to eat at fancy restaurants, then you need to be able to afford what you're going to pay for. I mean, eat. Whatever. If you can't afford it, you need to be able to say to yourself, maybe I want to go to a restaurant that's not as expensive. There are good restaurants out here in this world that are delicious and not super expensive. Like, it's not hard to find. Literally. You could even get sushi. You could go for lunch and get a bento box. And that comes with a lot of stuff. And usually they're like 15, 20 bucks. That's not that bad, right? I don't know. I just know that the entitlement is real with this one. You are not the asshole at all. She needs to get it together. I feel like that's even accurate when it comes down to dates. Don't ask to go to a restaurant that you cannot afford, especially a first date or a second date or a third, to be frank. You know, like, if you can't afford the meal that you're trying to eat, don't ask for it. You should ask for things within your means and stop trying to live above your means. If you can't afford it, don't ask for it. Honestly, like, don't. There's just so much entitlement when it comes to people these days. I have this thing personally because, I mean, like, when I would go out on dates, I would always, you know, granted, I wouldn't go out if I can't afford to, right? I'm not going to go out if I have fucking not a lot of money. I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious, you know, don't go out if you can't afford it. But, like, I had this thing because I do like to eat at nicer restaurants. Granted, I can afford to eat at nicer restaurants. So, I mean, like, if you can, if you can, if, how do I say this? Um, if you're going out on a date with somebody, right? Or if not even if you're going, yeah, if you're going out on a date with somebody, make sure that if this person says to you, because people are jerks, right? I feel like male or female, a date, especially a first date, can expect things from you. And in order for you not to have some sort of argument or, like fight or whatever, when it comes down to expectations, you need to be able to say, if things go left, you need to be able to say, wow, I can actually afford my meals, so I don't need to go home with you. I don't need to do this, that, and the third with you. I can afford to pay for my stuff. If you're in the middle of eating your lobster and steak because you decided to get surf and turf and you can't afford the surf and turf, you should have got the chicken. Don't get the surf and turf if you can't afford the surf and turf. Now, if you're in like a consistent relationship, and even then, to be real with you, but whatever, I feel like, period, if you can't afford it, don't ask for it, especially at a restaurant or anywhere else. If you can't afford it, don't ask for it. Just don't. You need to be able to live within your means. She obviously was not living within her means, clearly. I don't think so. I do not think so. I cannot believe this delivery driver though. Like, who did he think he is? Coming to your house and telling you you can't answer the door while you have a pump on your breast and you're covered. And you're covered. That's the part that gets me right there. Like, who even cares if you weren't covered, to be honest with you? Would it have been any different if she answered the door in some booty shorts? Would it? Would booty shorts have been okay? Would a low tank top have been okay? Look, the entitlement is real. You entitled folks need to get your shenanigans together. People are not required to live by your standards in life. We're, as humans, required to live the standards that we want as an individual. If you don't agree with something, that's just, honestly, it's your problem. It sounds like a you problem. Honestly, it sounds like a you problem. So if either one of those offended you, it's a you problem, not a me problem. It's not a her problem. It's not a he problem. It's a you problem. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, technically, my podcast. Thank you so much again. This is Vaughn Starr with the ADHD podcast. I will be doing 2 videos a week now and dibbling and dabbling in different kind of Reddits. And I would also love to get some stories from you guys. If you want to send me any kind of confession, any kind of story, maybe even a scary story. I don't care. I'm reading it. I'm open to it. Peace.